Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. So we are revisiting the scholarships portions of our series that we've been doing. For those of you who are new, we've been doing this now for almost 11 weeks, and we're just doing a series of live streams bringing you new information on how to utilize your community service and how you can do that even from home. And then we've expanded that to what that means for your college applications, for scholarships, and even for your future careers, and what it can mean to you personally, what it means for those nonprofits. We've kind of covered the gamut so far. So we're going to revisit some of them and then bring you new information as well, and based on feedback that we get from you. So I definitely encourage you guys to ask questions. If you want to make sure that I answer the question, there's an ask a question at the bottom. So go ahead and put it in there. Sometimes I don't always catch it off the side in the chat. Otherwise, again, if you've got other things you want to talk about in the chat, I put a question in there. Just kind of curious how many of you guys that are joining us are in the middle of doing scholarships, or maybe getting the email about this live stream was the first time you thought about applying for scholarships. I'd be curious about that too. So yeah, and I'm kind of curious how many scholarships you plan on applying for. That'd be kind of a cool question answer to get. So, all right, so we're gonna get started. So how can you have an impact in exercising your altruism from home? This has kind of been the main theme of our sessions. And then we expand that into different kind of mini topics throughout. So just an overview of why we're even here and why I'm here and why I'm doing this is because I'm Nicole. I'm the founder and CEO of Let's Start 360, which created the Authorized app. Let's Start 360, our mission is to help people be better intentionally. We really believe that if we start to be intentional about being good and doing our part in the world, that maybe we got a shot at actually being better people. Just like to be a better runner, you have to run more and be intentional about it. You have to, be purposeful about setting aside the time to do that particular thing. What if to be better people, we have to be that intentional about it? We have to set aside that time and make sure we're doing it. So that's where we come from as far as our mission statement. And we surround at the core of that mission is altruism. Altruism means to care more about somebody else's well-being than you do for your own. And so that's a really powerful word. And it's known by a lot of its synonyms, as you see all those words surrounding it. It's usually kind of exercised through volunteerism is what most people would see that. But altruism really means a lot more than that. And that you can be altruistic and altruize throughout your life and in all sorts of different ways. So that's the core of what we do. Authorize, the app, is actually, that word authorize means to exercise your altruism. And so again, altruism is at the core of our mission and what we do as a company. So let's dive into a couple things for those of you who are new. We're going to go over a couple topics for those that have seen this before. It's a great refresher. And then we've got some new information coming up. So one thing that we want to talk about is that over 1,200 universities and colleges are test optional. This is a fairly new term. What that means is they're looking at getting rid of the standardized testing, the ACT, SAT. And so what that means is they're looking at you as a whole person. So that's called a holistic admissions process. That's what they're calling that now. So again, your community service, the extracurricular activities you're involved in, any leadership that you've been doing is all going to play a huge role in your college applications. And that's going to be spilling over into your scholarships. And your scholarships, what you gain for scholarships will then showcase how, if you've won a certain scholarship, that also is going to be part of that admissions record then too, because they'll know that you getting that scholarship meant that you did X number of hours, you're, such caliber of person. They'll be able to extrapolate a little bit more information about you as a person, that holistic piece. and try to base whether or not you're getting accepted into that college or university with all those pieces together. So again, this is a stat I bring up pretty much all the time because I think it's really important that you guys understand this. 61% of college admissions officials use the community service as a tiebreaker. So you really want to be solid that volunteer transcript is really good, and you know exactly kind of the parameters that you're trying to showcase for certain colleges and universities. So as we move into the next one, so what's the difference kind of between the admissions and the scholarships? When it comes to community service, they're very, very similar. Specifically, so for admissions, they like to see anywhere from 50 to 200 community service hours for your college admissions. So keep that in mind. So if you're at a school, for example, that they're requiring you to do 40 hours for graduation, you really want to bump that up if you're looking to apply to college and universities to get into that 50 to 200 hour range. That's kind of the sweet spot for the admissions officials. When it comes to scholarships, so we looked at scholarships that were really specific to community service. There are quite a few scholarships out there that have heavy emphasis on the community service and less emphasis on the GPA. So I know there's plenty out there that have all about the GPA, and it's very specific to a field or whatever. There are also the scholarships that are very specific to community service, which I think is fabulous because as colleges are admitting, you can't know everything just from the grades and how well people do in bookwork. It's how well are they a part of their community too. So I think that's fabulous. So the big part with that, though, is then for some of these community service specific scholarships, they're looking for like 300 hours of community service. So they're really, they're serious. They want to see a commitment to this. So again, the commitment. With the commitment, what they're looking at is what have you done over the course of, let's say you started off as a freshman, through your junior-ish year, because you're starting to apply now, right? What have you done that shows your commitment? So did you do 300 hours at 300 different places? That's not really committed. Now, if you can somehow show that maybe you were developing a certain skill set, and that was your commitment part, and you did that by experiencing that skill set at different organizations, that's totally reasonable. But one example that a college admissions official gave is there would be more said that you went to help out at a food service center every week for an hour, or even every month for an hour over the course of the 3 years versus going on a missions trip for 1 week. And that was all you did, was that one mission trip. Okay. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about different community service opportunities that you're looking at and that you can be involved in. Especially now. Now with COVID, and we don't know what it's going to look like moving forward. Are you going to be able to do the face-to-face? What commitment can you give to a nonprofit or another organization that you are able to do at home as well as maybe at that organization? So again, keep that in mind as you're looking for different opportunities. Reflection. So a lot of I know a lot of the admissions have essays as well for college and universities, but the scholarships, especially so, they want to know what you learned, what you learned about yourself, what you learned about the world around you, what you learned about your community. How does that connect in what you're hoping to do and the impact you're hoping to have for your future self? So you're going to want to be able to easily reflect on those opportunities and be able to take them with you when you're writing those essays. So keep that in mind. Scholarships. All right. if you actually Google scholarships, you will get overwhelmed, as I did. So here's a couple things that I wanted to just high level point out that you're going to want to do on your own, because it's uniquely you that, these scholarships have their certain eligibilities and requirements, etc. So first of all, you're going to have to do some research on your own. Some places to start, though, for your research is start with your community scholarships. So if you live in a community, look up and see if your community has a community foundation. Okay, it's usually the name of the town, community foundation, or the name of the region, community foundation. Google that for your area. See if there is anything in your area that they give scholarships, especially if you have a community college in your area. Okay, if you're looking at going to a community college, the community foundation scholarships might be a great fit. And that leads me to that third point. The community that your college of choice or university of choice is in, look at the scholarship opportunities from that community foundation to attend that community college. Okay. Now, some of them do have expectations that you're also from that community, but some of them don't. So do the research. Some of them might have certain departmental scholarships as well. Again, you gotta do the research for that on your own on that one. Another thing to also within your community, there are a lot of service organizations that give community scholarships as well. And they don't necessarily care where you're going as far as a college or university. If it's out of the community, that's fine, as long as you're graduating from that community high school. So a couple of those scholarships that I'm just going to blabber off a bunch of community service organizations, and then you're going to want to search some other ones that I might not know of. So you've got your Rotary clubs, your Kiwanis clubs, your Lions clubs. You've got again, so now I'm going into very specific skill sets. You've got your what am I looking for? Chamber of Commerce. They might do scholarships. Any association. So you might have a farmers association. You might have a realtors association. You might have any of those associations that are business associations might actually give scholarships if you're interested in those fields as well. So make sure you're looking into all of that as a possibility. And we always say, you've got to get started, right? You've got to, if you're going to start ultrazing, the best way to do it is you've got to set a goal. You've got to be purposeful about it. Just like you can't just say you're going to lose weight and that's it. Like you actually have to set the goal, right? You have to track it. You have to hold yourself accountable and make sure that you're tracking it somewhere. Make sure it's altruistic. Make sure it really does connect with you and meaningful to you. Make sure it's realistic, especially in these times now. Again, how things have changed. Make sure it's something that you can get done in the time frame you set as part of your goals that you're tracking. And make sure you tell others. So whether it's on social media that you want to be able to highlight that you're ultrazing and you're being purposeful, but that's another way to hold yourself accountable is by when you tell others that you're going to do something, they kind of help hold you accountable as well. And I mentioned the Authorized app, so that is free to download. You are able to then, again, the goal setting is very important to us. You can't even finish setting up your profile with us without putting in your goal. So whether it's a personal goal or you've got goals that you have to do for your, again, maybe a scholarship that you're looking at or college or for your high school to graduate, all those goals can go into one area within the app. And then you're able to actually get this all verified through the app. So you can send the verification request directly to the nonprofit, to the for-profit if you're interning, or even an individual. So if you're mowing the lawn for your neighbor, you can get that verified and get that verified through the app. Again, no more pieces of paper, no more hunting those down, trying to remember anything. You're able to do it right then and there. And then when you're ready to use that kind of for the bigger, better purpose, you've got the option to download your volunteer transcript and get a great report to go along with that. A couple other things that I want to highlight is I talked about the skill development. So if you're gonna highlight that you're doing a certain skill and that's what you want to highlight, you can do that again through the reporting feature, as long as you're indicating what skill development profile you're using. We've got that capability on the app, and you can do more than one. It's not just a one and done. And also I wanted to highlight that we've got a journaling feature. So again, that's to help you with the essay part. So you don't have to try to remember what you were feeling and what you learned back your freshman year with a certain organization. You can journal it right then and there while it's top of mind and be able to go back to it and reference it as you're writing your essays, and make that process way smoother and easier for you as well. And one of my favorite little gifts here. So you can stand out. It's definitely very doable, even without the ACT, SATs. And when it comes to those scholarships, you can definitely stand out in making sure that you're thoughtful about why you did what you did. It can't just be to check the box of, well, I knew I needed 300 hours in order to, apply for this scholarship that could give me $2,500 every year for college. It's got to be more meaningful than that now more than ever, since, again, more and more the ACT and SAT scores are kind of, and GPAs for the scholarships themselves are not being looked at as much. So we've got our Authorized Ambassadors. So this is another way that you can earn some community service time by being an Authorized Ambassador. There's some certain meetings that we have just as a way to connect, brainstorm, and some other things, joining the live streams here that you are able to be a part of. And we want it to be fun and impactful. And we're super excited with our first Zoom meeting with our first group of Authorized Ambassadors on Wednesday. And they had some great ideas. So we're working on getting those worked in. And we have the scholarship ebook ready for you guys. So stay tuned. I'm going to put the link in the comments, so make sure you check it out. So again, very overwhelmed when I Googled scholarships for community service. So we took I think we introduced this idea of this ebook about 4 weeks ago, and set our goal was to be able to introduce it by the end of June. So here we are. We pulled out kind of the big topics and the big scholarships that are really heavy on that community service, so that you guys can just directly go to it right away. And we're looking at possibly doing kind of an expanded edition of this, but that's going to take a little while. So we're excited about that. So hopefully it will give you guys some good head start on applying for those scholarships. And we'd like your feedback too. Please let us know how it goes for you. That'd be awesome to hear one of you guys won one of the scholarships that was in the ebook. So that'd be awesome. And if you're interested in learning more about being an Authorized Ambassador, I'll have that link also in the comments at the end. And yeah, that's kind of the big thing we've been working on. We're super pumped that we were able to finish that off for you guys. And we don't have a special interview for you, but I do want you to revisit the interview that we did with Tamir and Zach. There are Authorized Ambassadors that started their own fundraising efforts for a local food pantry that in their community. And I think it was really cool because again, it all had to be done from home during COVID, during quarantine. So it's really insightful. So I've got that interview with the links as well. And another thing that we want to highlight, the March of Dimes. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. I mean, they've been on this piece, I think, almost from the beginning. because they've been so gracious. March of Dimes, National March of Dimes, is verifying through the Authorized app your time of making masks. Not every community is able to be without masks yet. And depending on how the fall goes, we might be right back there with having to wear masks again. So it does not require any sewing, it just requires like old t-shirts and rubber bands. Like they just need they're looking for simple masks so that people can, use them as a one-time use if necessary. So again, that's still going on. There's a link there, but I'll also put it in the comments. And don't forget to hashtag Authorized whenever you're doing anything, cool and fun and being altruistic and altruizing and making a difference and having an impact in your community. Share that on social media. People need to see that good stuff. Need to see the good stuff. So thank you. Wait for the links. I do see a question, so I'm going to check out this question quick. Oh, you didn't receive it yet. I apologize for that, Nessa. I'm going to put my email in the comments too. So email me directly and we'll get that figured out. Yeah, I'm not sure why that happened. So maybe that email got misdirected. I would check your spam just to make sure. So if you've already checked your spam, then yeah, email me offline here and we'll figure that out. Absolutely. Love to have you. So thank you for your interest. All right, I'm going to grab the links. And I do add a few extra links just on stuff that, information that I've grabbed while I was creating the information for you guys today, because I think it's important to have all that stuff in there. So let's see here. It's yelling at me that I have too many characters. Sorry. There you go. All right. So you guys should see the links in the comments area there. So we've got, how many hours for college, the value of volunteering, becoming an Authorized Ambassador. So there's the link for that. The March of Dimes, the interview with Zach and Tamir, and then our ebook, which I'm excited about. And then the last one is an email that you guys can contact me at. So please do, especially if you're having any issues with, there's something that got dropped with signing up as an Authorized Ambassador. Absolutely. Reach out to me. Yeah. So next week we'll be doing this again. We're going to have a little bit of a change of the topic. So watch for your emails and yeah, we'll go from there. All right. Thanks guys so much for your time. I appreciate it. Till next week. Thanks.